record now. So, or I will mute you myself. Let me just make sure. Okay, if you guys are coming in, it should mute you. Do not unmute, please. When I have the Q&A, I will go ahead and ask you guys and invite you to unmute. So LinkedIn's not like Facebook. So that means that the DM game has to change, and DM is direct messaging. So if you guys are using LinkedIn and you're direct messaging and you came over from other platforms like Facebook and you're trying the same tactics that seem to work over there, it's going to be a little bit of a different response. So, and it's just based on what everyone is saying, is that they're not loving the DMs in LinkedIn, and sometimes it's enough to scare them away for a long time, and that really stinks, because I think that LinkedIn is one of the best platforms that you can get clients from. It's just you have to look at it a different way when you're getting clients. So first things first is that we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you guys how to do a LinkedIn lab. It's one of my favorite things to do, and probably as we speak, I'm getting messages because I always get messages. So when you first log in, this is where you go to. You go to the dashboard, the home page. And what I like to do is I like to first go into who's viewed your profile. So you can see who's been viewing your profile if you have the premium. So if you have LinkedIn Premium, if you have Sales Navigator, you can do that too. If you don't, you have the free version, you're only going to see like the first 3 or 4 people, and then you're not going to see anybody else. And then they're going to ask you to go ahead and upgrade. And it is a great feature of LinkedIn Premier, or not Premier, Premium. It's a great feature. I use it because I go through and like, okay, so who's looking at my profile and who haven't I talked to? And so a lot of times it's going to be people that I've sent connection requests to, and then I'll go ahead and message them and just say, hey, thanks so much for connecting. If I've already connected with them in the past and they've come and looked at my profile since, then I may go to their profile and take a look, and I may endorse them, or I may just chat them up in the DMs and say, hey, I really liked your last article or your last post, and I was wondering what inspired you to write that, and I agree with this point and this point. So it's really just a way to communicate with people who are already in some form asking to be communicated with, because they're looking at your profile, they're interested. And again, I tend to look at make sure that they're first connections, and because if they're second connections, then we're not connected right yet. So it doesn't make sense to go ahead and DM them. So that's the first phase with the LinkedIn Lab. The next phase with the LinkedIn Lab is I go into my notifications. So with notifications, it's people have liked my post. I have a couple posts that I've already put out today. It's just a content day, so sometimes I get a little trigger happy and I want to go ahead and put out my posts because I love them all, because I really love creating content. So I already have 2 up there. I already see that people have reacted. I'll go back and check those to see if there's comments. They're still pretty early in the day to have a ton of comments. I'll see who's liked my comments. I'll see who's been following me, because if they're following me, I may go and look at their profile and see if they're the person to follow. If there's any other posts that I commented on and other people are commenting on, sometimes I'll go and see the other people's comments and kind of get networking and social there. Yeah, this notification tab is always, always, always very, very busy. And then the other thing I do is that if somebody has started a new position, I can say congrats, right? So I'll usually click that button and it will go to the post, right? And I have a lot of people to catch up on. I always do. I usually try to do this on Friday, and I try to give everybody kind of a, hey, congrats, but I like to personalize it. I don't do it quite to the extent that I've seen other people do. I've seen people, write a whole long paragraph on just congratulating, and they'll go and check out the company or all this stuff. And like, it looks like this is going to be really a great year for such and such company. And, but I try to keep it pretty simple. One of the things that I'll do, if I'll see that they're working with a company and then that company has a business page, I'll go ahead and say, congrats, Samantha, and I'll put @Samantha, so it'll tag her. at Frank and Natalia, and I'll put at Frank and Natalia, and I'll see if it's a business page. Is so lucky to have you. What a great opportunity for both you and your company. And so that will actually get eyeballs from the company and whoever's following the company. And then it's also congratulating and in some ways endorsing Samantha. So there's just so many different things that you can do here. And most people don't think about the importance of having that social aspect and what a difference it does make. And it's really not even us promoting ourselves. We go right into I need to promote myself. No, sometimes all you need to do is congratulate and promote other people and then tag companies to get more eyeballs on what you're doing. And this is when you will see a lot of people who you didn't know before come in to your network and request to connect with you. So it's just really important to do these things every day. So if you're doing them 5 days a week, you're coming in for, I usually tell people, might try to come in for 15 minutes, 10 minutes if you only have 10 minutes and do your LinkedIn lab. But all of that adds up, and it adds up in a really positive way, and it actually builds out your network much faster. So once I'm done the notification, then I'll come back and I'll go into my network. And in my network, we'll see people who have sent invitations. I'll get people who have sent me invites to events. You know, Sometimes I'll get invites to connect and follow. This is actually a new one. I haven't seen this until this week with LinkedIn, but they'll say so and so is following you and is inviting you to connect. Great. That's really good to know, right? Sometimes I'll get invited to follow a newsletter. So all these really good things. There's actually a lot more to the Manage My Network. I don't think I showed you guys this in the last two LinkedIn labs that we did, but if you scroll down, it will say, some people that you recently followed. This is who else they follow, the universities that you are a part of. So like I'm graduated from University of Maine. Sometimes I'll see some of the alumni and what they're doing. Um, and then if you keep scrolling, I have a lot of connections and a lot of followers. So if I keep going, it's just going to take a long time to get to some of the things that I want to get to, which is they'll show you recommended hashtags for what you're following, the people that you're following and connected with, what they're following. So they're actually going to give you your hashtag game right here. If you have a lot of people like me, it's going to take a minute to scroll and find these, and I find it very, very frustrating. So I'll usually just do my own research, and I'll usually just search a hashtag that I want to use and it makes sense. The context within the content, it makes sense. And so then I'll just go and see if there's a lot of followers with that one. But you can see I'm still scrolling. So um I'm gonna give up here for for now. But it'll also tell you what businesses to follow and all that. So after you're done doing the invitations, if you have a couple minutes left, keep scrolling, see if you can find anyone else that makes a lot of sense to follow. So top emerging creators to follow. So I love that they have all of this stuff. And LinkedIn, they're improving this all the time, guys. Like every single day, I am finding that the algorithms are getting better, meaning that they're working better for people who are out there creating content, getting it out there to your following, giving you information to help you get it out to your following more. They're giving you better suggestions. One of the best suggestions I found that LinkedIn does is within Sales Navigator. So if you guys aren't familiar with Sales Navigator, it's the ultimate upgrade from LinkedIn where you can go and you have multiple filters. It's much better than our search filter here in the regular LinkedIn, the non-paid LinkedIn, and then also the premium LinkedIn. I can't remember how many filters, but it's a lot, and it really does filter down to that ideal client. But one of the things that Sales Navigator is doing based on who you're connecting with, and then also who you've searched for, and it's giving you recommendations based on those two together. So if you're searching for, let's just say that you're searching for life coaches, and then you're connecting with life coaches who follow Brene Brown, then what LinkedIn is going to do for you is that they're going, as people get more and more active on LinkedIn, they're going to have a suggestion. They're going to have a suggestion part within the search feature and the list feature that gives you like, I don't know, I usually get like 200 after 3 weeks of LinkedIn suggestion suggested connections right within Sales Navigator. And I've tested this with my mastermind clients, because we do a lot of LinkedIn and we do a lot of Sales Navigator. And we've actually gone through and had our searches, and then got the results from those. And then we took the LinkedIn search and we put that to work. And the conversions were even better with what LinkedIn was presenting to us, what Sales Navigator was presenting to us. So just another great use of the LinkedIn and the Sales Navigator algorithm is that they're really doing a great job in making your life easier. It's becoming better and better. So the AI is working. So after you guys have done the My Network, then the last one to go is into your messaging. I already know my messages are blown up in there. So to keep everybody's privacy, I won't go into that. But basically, you go into your messages and you just there's a filter there. Can you search for who unread messages is usually where I go. I will say I hope that LinkedIn is going to spend some time making the messaging system much easier. It's not great right now. Everything gets pushed down. So you're going to have to use your filters. You're going to have to search for you're going to have to search for unread messages. Or if there was this is the part I don't love. If somebody did connect and they did send you a message, then you're either going to have to talk to them immediately, or you're going to have to write down their name, because you're going to have to come back and search for that, because it's going to keep going down. The busier that you get, the more people that you connect with, the more people that you message with. So I do have hacks for that. I don't have time to cover them in this, but just know that there's definitely some work to be done in the messaging system. It doesn't mean that you can't and that you can't organize. You can. Sometimes you just have to be a little proactive. Have your Excel ready, and if you can't connect back with somebody, or if you have a conversation going the DMs, then it's best to have that Excel and to have some kind of a follow-up process. So, and I do, and I teach my students this all the time. I'm like, you have to have a follow-up process, and there's a whole bunch that goes into the sales process when it comes to LinkedIn, when it comes to all these platforms. That really makes a big difference. So that is your LinkedIn lab. So I mean, it just how quickly you go through it. It just depends. If you're just getting introduced to this LinkedIn lab feature that I've just taught you guys, give yourself 30 minutes, take your time. And you may actually have a lot to catch up on if you don't consistently do this. If you're pretty good about staying on top of your messages and your notifications, then I would say anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes, spend that per day. And this is separate from your content creation. So the LinkedIn Lab is separate from your content creation, because it's more networking, it's more social, it's more that organic, that social selling, social marketing piece. And so it's just part of your day. It's part of your marketing. Okay, so now we go into the part where I have a whole bunch of ways to create opportunities. And so what I've done is I've broken down opportunity creation tactics that we use. So we have a whole system. it's a big system. And the reason I came up with this nice circular system of opportunities to create on LinkedIn is because I had so many people coming to me saying, I can't get anyone to talk to me in LinkedIn. And so I was like, really? Like, yeah, no one, I can't get any movement on LinkedIn. I'm like, wow, let's play with that, because like I have no problem having people come in and talk to me on LinkedIn all the time. In fact, if anything, I have too many people talking to me all at once. And that started from the very beginning. It's not just because I have a large following and a lot of connections. It's just because I really know how to network. I really know how to create these opportunities. I really know how to get people talking. So when we're doing that, and if you guys have the opposite problem where you have too many people talking to you, you have too many people coming forward, then you need to get really, really specific with who's your ideal client and how can you best serve them today. So that's what I tell everybody. And like it's not a week-long problem, it's a today problem. And it's got to be today because you only have so much time in one given day, right? So for those of you that like to be really productive, or for those of you that have only so much time, some of the best things that I've learned to do is set a timer. So I get my phone out, I set my timer, I'm like, okay, I've got 30 minutes to go in. I'm going to be very selective with who I talk to today. Sometimes my team comes in and they're talking for me. And so I have a list of people to go in and connect with. And so that's how I do that. But I do set my timer. I've had to, otherwise I will get lost and I can't get the rest of my agency and implementation work done. So one of the big opportunities that I have found, or opportunity creations I have found, is pretty simple. We're going to go back to that hashtag game. So, and sometimes I'll go into my company page, and I'll find those. But let's just say that I want to do influencers. Influence Builder, we work with influencers, we work with brands, but I want to see who's posting about influencers and hashtag influencers. So you can search for influencers, but I found that one of the best things that you can do is to go into one of these searches, because you can tell I haven't actually gone to the hashtag page, and there's a hashtag page. Well, maybe if it's going to come up. Slow today. Hold on one second. Maybe not. Hold on. We'll try one more time. Well, let's just go here. Let's just see if I can get into the hashtag. She's got him. Oh, I think she spelled that wrong. I don't think she meant to do that. I'm like, wait, am I spelling influencers wrong? Okay, so sometimes we just go into one person's, like my hashtag game isn't solid right now because I can't quite get to it. Influencer marketing, but we have hashtag influencers right here. So I'm going to click on it, and this should lead me to, there it is. So you can see hashtag influencers, there's over 7,000 followings. Is it a great one? Yeah, it's okay. But what I'm going to find is I'm going to find people talking about influencers. So here's a good one, how brands are harnessing influencer marketing. So that's a 7-minute read. That's a really long read, by the way. Don't know if I want to put that one out there, because this is the other thing, guys. You got to know your ideal clients. What are they willing to read? Are they willing to read 7 minutes, or are they willing to read 1 minute? So this is just another way of really knowing who your ideal client is. Some of them like to read. And the other thing that I look at is, like, I have multiple avatars. So avatar is just another way of saying ideal client profiles. So I have several different avatars, and based on what product I'm promoting or what service I'm promoting that given day, then I will choose my buying persona based on the avatar very carefully. So I know that the buyers that I'm looking for on Friday are not going to be my readers. So I'm not going to put something out there, and I'm not going to, start creating opportunities within something I know my ideal client isn't going to do. They're just not going to read this. Which means that I don't need to read it either. And I clicked on it by mistake. So hashtag influencers. What else do we got? We got some stuff. We got some people posting. There's an outreach masterclass. No, don't really want that. I'm going to keep going. Trust issues. That could be interesting. This could be something that I want to talk about. Oh, actually, I kind of like this. So tired of seeing influencers whose feeds are 90% affiliate links. It's boring. Consumers are becoming more and more switched onto it. Maybe I think maybe switched off to it, actually. Oh, she's actually calling somebody out. So I don't like that. I'm not going to do that. The call out culture is not conducive to my personal branding. My values. I don't do it because it's just really not moving people forward to be successful. So likes, comments, yeah. Hey, you stop and read this, please. No. I mean, there's not a whole lot that I'm really interested. Asking for help online. People replying, I have the same problem. That's kind of funny. It's like, hey, me too. And then, yeah, okay. So we could play with that a little bit. So you guys can kind of see what I'm trying to do here. I tell you what, guys, top 50 global thought leaders and influencers. Now, this I like. This I can use. So this is very, very interesting. And it's actually, you know what the other good thing about this, guys, is that this looks like it's right here on LinkedIn. So guess what? I'm going to go and click on this. I'm going to go check these guys out. This is if this is really coming from a business page, then the LinkedIn algorithm is going to like it a lot better. And look, even better, they've got 14,000 followers. So this is actually a really good company this is going to be a good one. So see all videos. Congrats to the top 50. I want to go here. Actually, I think I'm going to actually share this. Look, and it's got 15 comments, 61 shares. So a lot of people are sharing it. There's even more 50 HR. So we've got HR, CSR. That doesn't really go. These are leaders and influencers, but it looks like this was just posted today. So this is a good one. So I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to create an opportunity. So the opportunity isn't so much that I'm going to go and talk to people. It's that I'm actually going to do some influencer hacking here. So that's kind of what I find to be really, really helpful. Now you need a couple more pieces of information. So I'm going to discard this for now, but I want to see if there's anybody that I should, so I'm just going to click on this. Who's the author? So the first thing I'm looking for, so Thinkers 360, awesome. They have a business page. We're going to tag that business page, but I want to see if there's anybody on here that's the author that I need to also tag. So doesn't look like there is. It looks like it's just no. Let's see. But look at this. There's some people here that are thought leaders that I could potentially tag. So B2B social selling employees or anybody that I probably will go for a female. It always does really well. And do I want to connect with these guys? So executive coach, I love my executive coaches. My female ones are doing amazing work in the world. Look at this, leadership services. That's great. I wonder if I just click on that, these are profiles. So look, and she's got LinkedIn. Nope, she doesn't have LinkedIn. So do you guys see kind of where I'm going with this? I'm going to keep this really short, but you can do so much just from doing a little bit of digging. That's going to bother me, and seeing what's coming up. And so we have so much that we can do with this. There's not an author, but there is Thinkers 360. They have a large following, so we're going to tag them. The other thing is that because of the type of video this is, I could actually, if I wanted to spend some more time on it, and I actually may do this, I could go through this whole list, find these guys on LinkedIn and tag them and say, congratulations to the top 50 thought leaders, right? So and this is going to be the one on the top 50, the top 50 global thought leaders and influencers, right? That one's in HR. So if you guys are looking to get in front of HR people, this is a really good one. I like the fact that it's thought leaders. 100 podcasts from thought leaders. So there's another one down here. And look, these guys have done quite a bit of it for you. They're tagging these guys too. So that is a huge, huge, huge opportunity. Do you guys see that? Do you guys see the app? Dr. Laura's like, yes, I love this idea, right? And it's so easy. It's so easy. You're not selling anything. You're not selling anything. You're not doing anything besides going and finding some really great information, and you're looking at it, you're tagging the company, you're giving credit where it's due. This is a really interesting one because what these guys are doing is that they're actually promoting thought leaders, they're promoting HR professionals. Look, they're promoting podcast hosts. They've already done this work for you, and you're just going to go ahead and give kudos. You're going to say, good job. Love this article. Guys, go and check out all these amazing thought leaders in HR, or all these amazing. Well, look, this is actually really interesting. I wouldn't mind doing this one. This one's in sales. So top 50 global thought leaders and influencers on sales in 2022. So you can go in and see who those 50 people are. You can tag those 50 people. You can tag them, say, congratulations, all of you guys. Wow, what a wonderful award for you. Must feel amazing. And so you've created a massive, massive, effective campaign, and opportunities all within that. So, guys, and this I just found. This took me what, 5 minutes? 5 minutes to find it. It would take me probably another 10 minutes to go through and to tag everybody and see if I could tag them and to say congratulations. Um, but even if I wasn't able to tag everybody, I would tag Thinkers 360 and give them that kudos. So what's going to happen, what the algorithm is going to do here, when you tag, when you post, it's going to get you in front of so whoever you tag in it is going to get you in front of their audience. So again, this audience has 14,000 followers. So it's going to get you in front of them. The other thing it's going to do is when you choose which one you want to work with and you tag the people who are in the top 50 global thought leaders and influencers within that niche, it's going to get in front of their audiences. So better thing is that they're thought leaders and influencers. So if they're thought leaders and influencers, fingers crossed, they've built out their LinkedIn too. Even if they haven't, it's not a bad thing to do. So that's extending your reach out even further. And so it's really an effective way of marketing yourself. It's a really effective way of socially marketing, because this would be socially marketing. I wouldn't call this selling. I would definitely call this marketing, because what you're doing with this is that you're getting eyeballs on you. So that's one opportunity creation today that it's going to be the gift that keeps on giving, is really what it's going to be. So that's just one. So I liked it. This is definitely my influencer content creation. I've shown a little bit of that every week. This is a really easy one. This is one I'm going to come back to. So I better make sure that I bookmark it. In fact, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to go like this. Enter. I'm going to save it for later when I have a minute, because I really liked this idea and I want to use it for myself. So I guess everybody who's on is gonna have the same idea. We should probably just tag each other in it as well. Like, look what we came up with on our fun workshop that we did today. So that's one opportunity. Let's go back and let's think of another one. And I did that by just putting in a hashtag and following that hashtag, knowing that my ideal clients are the brands that want influencers, and then they're the influencers themselves and the thought leaders. Those are some. If I was to categorize at least half of my avatars, it's within those types there. So that's the hashtag game. Now, if I don't want to do the hashtag game, because sometimes you have to kind of follow the trail with the hashtag, right? It's a little research intensive. Instead, we can do what I did this morning, which is a quick hack. And I'm like, I'm just going to follow one of the influencers that I know. I actually like his content. I don't know if I always like his content, but I think the older he gets, the more I like his content. He seems to kind of be simmering a little bit. And thought leadership is definitely prevalent in his brand right now. So I like it. Thing is that I would say 90% of my ideal clients love him. They follow him. It's not just the men, it's the women too. So it makes a lot of sense for me to go and create opportunities with Mr. Gary Vee here. So if I go to his profile, if I show all activity, and the thing with Gary is that he's usually, all of his activity is usually his own posts. So I can just go down and see one that I like. So selling the unsellable is always the wrong move. Man, preach that. That's whoo. That's a it's an obvious truth, but one that people miss very often. Yeah, he's already got 452 people, and that was posted 49 minutes ago. He's got 24 shares. I mean, I kind of want to post that because I actually had a conversation with somebody in the DM, and I'm like, well, tell me who you serve. And then he told me, and I was just like, wow, man, you've made it. And I'm like, and I don't mean to, I'm not trying to be mean or a bummer here, but man, you've made it really hard for yourself to build your business. That's a tough clientele. And I said, and the other thing is that they probably really struggle to afford your services. And I don't know what your service fee is. And so what he's doing is selling the unsellable. It's never the right move. But there's always a different angle. I said there's always a different angle. There's always a way to look at this. And sometimes what it means is that you don't necessarily have to go down to the individual and go so niche. You can actually expand and still have really good margins. And there's always a ripple effect where if you do the good up here, you take care of yourself, you take care of your business, you take care of your employees, you take care of your family, and then you're actually helping the niches below, and then the niche below, and then the niche below. So I usually just like, sometimes we just need to kind of back up and look at this from a bird's eye view. And sometimes it is actually, you need to go broader in order for your business to work. So you see what I just said? I could actually turn what I said around. I could share this post and I would share it with my thoughts. Everything I just told you guys, I could put this into a post and said, I was just talking to somebody the other day and I felt like I was being kind of a Debbie Downer when I said, man, you've really made it hard on yourself to sell your programs and services. Which funny enough, this guy's like, yep, I agree. And I'm like, well, if you know this, then here's what I wanted to say is that there is always a solution. And maybe there's a different angle or an easier path for you, and you can still serve this clientele that you really want to serve. Sometimes it's just not what we think it's going to be. And I could go into that story, I could continue that on, and then I would always just end it with something really powerful and say, the disservice isn't that you can't help everyone. The disservice is when you try to help everyone and you help no one. And then guess what? You actually end up closing up your business. So no one wins in these. Listen to Gary here and find the sellable within what you're trying to sell and go with that and then improve and expand. So just kind of flows right off, doesn't it? It's so, when you think of it like this and when you think about the stories and when you agree with something, especially with your influencers. So the easiest thing is to go through and just like whatever you're absolutely nodding your head to agreeing, if it's a post, then why are you agreeing to it? And then if it's a story or if it's something like I just talked to somebody about this, write the story at the top of this, make a really great discovery within that. And the call to action, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to take action with you, meaning they have to talk to you. The take action part could be what I just did and like listen to Gary here and find what's sellable. That's a call to action. That's really asking people to step up and really asking them to improve themselves in their business. Like I said, a call to action doesn't mean that they have to literally call you or take action with you in the DMs. A call to action could simply be a perception shift. And so that's a really good way to build you as a LinkedIn influencer too. But it's also another way to create an opportunity. So when you're done sharing that, when you're done having that piece of it, you've done your authority build. There's one more thing that you can do. So I'm going to give you guys 3 opportunities today because it just makes sense. Guess what? Who else agreed with this? Who else had the same experience, right? So we've got 453 likes, 453 potential like-minded people that also are loving this. Actually, I'll probably take a skim through this, and usually not always, your first connections are at the top, and then you have your second connections. If I was going to connect with anybody, I would look at second connections. I wouldn't follow them. If they have a follow button, by the way, guys, it doesn't mean that you can't connect with them. It just means that they have creator mode on, and that follow button is the one that is always coming up first. But you can go to their profile and you can connect with them. So I would connect with them and I would say, hey, hi there. Just saw that you and me both liked Gary V's last post about not selling the unsellable. Thought it would be fun. Thought it would be fun to connect and collaborate as we're obviously like-minded, as we obviously have something in common. But I probably won't put that. I probably just put that. And then that's it. I would probably want to put her name first. Yeah, hi there. And I would put Sarah. Yep. So I'm going to show you guys an example of how to do that. And that's it. You see that? You want me to put it in the comments or, oh, the I? You got it? Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, doctor, right? Yes, you guys always catch me on my, yep, you do every time. my 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 therapists and counselors are like, Danielle, go back. And I'm like, you're right. Yes, I know it's good. No, it's a good thing. It just means that you guys are very good at that technical piece. So and I'm just actually gonna send this just because doesn't necessarily mean that I went through to see if she's an ideal client. I want to make this as an example. But these are the things that you guys can do. And so it's that easy. Another opportunity for you guys. The other thing is that, look, if you share this, I better actually like this first because I do like it. I know I know sometimes I don't always do the first thing first, but look, there's all these people that shared it too. So if they reposted it, then they obviously are just like, I know who does this. I mean, there's a reason why they're resharing it. So there's an opportunity there too. There's another opportunity for you to go and connect with them. Like, hey, it looks like we both love Gary Vee and we just shared his stuff. I know that I have a personal story with this. I'd love to hear yours. Let's connect. See, so easy. It's really that it's very simple and a lot of people will get caught up in all the things that really don't matter when they go into LinkedIn and they're like, I don't know who to connect with, I don't know what to do. Just be a human. Just be a human. Like that's all you got to do. You just got to be a human. So with that said, let's come back. Let me stop sharing my screen. That like is akin to whatever. I don't know about that. It is I think if you take any time to go and like a post, especially with as inundated as we are, I wouldn't say it's a whatever. It's a like, hey, nice. I had times and that I liked. So I mean, it just depends. It depends on your personality. It depends on that. I mean, it is always better for the algorithm to have an emoji con or something different than a like. It does improve the algorithm because it does mean that people took an extra half second to really think about what their response was. So yes, I agree because the like isn't automatic, right? So there is something to say with that too. So if you don't want to just do a like, actually it's always better to put a comment too and to comment on other people's stuff. All right, so any questions? I have 10 minutes so I can answer some of these questions. Oh yes, I'd love for your people from Clubhouse to come over. LinkedIn is a great place, especially because I know, Dr. Laura, you have a lot of, I also know that you have a lot of therapists and counselors that follow you too. A lot of people that, yeah, I mean, this is a really good place for them to stand out as a thought leader. So they would have to take a different approach, kind of like you. And so they would focus on putting out really valuable content, which they have anyway. They have tons of content. And I know that there's some things that they have to kind of work around as therapists and counselors, and there's certain things that they can't post. And sometimes even just what I showed you and just agreeing and posting, like influencers, like Brene Brown's probably huge amongst, yeah, they love Brene Brown, don't they? Yeah. So your clients are following Brene Brown, the one, yes, totally, because she talks about trauma, she talks about resiliency, she talks about boundaries. I mean, everything that you guys talk about. So even just following her, commenting on her post, if somebody asks a question, right? Like, how do I hold boundaries? Guess what? Guess who gets to come in there and talk to that? You do. Exactly. It's a great place for that. It's just a different approach. It's not a salesy approach. It is a thought leadership approach. It's a supportive approach, which you guys are perfect for because that's what you do every day anyway. You're the wise counsel. Wise counsel. So, would you consider this as working or on or in your business? So I would consider anything that is social marketing and social selling as in your business. This is me working within my business. Now, I don't necessarily say on. When I think of working on my business, I think of more like the branding piece, like more of the aesthetics and those pieces. And so because I have that piece done, anything I do within is really to move people forward in the conversation. So it's just part of the daily piece of what do you include on your Excel file. So it just depends. It depends on what the goal is. I actually use a platform that's really amazing, and it's all about creating pipelines. So you can do it in an Excel, but the pipelines, it's a sales pipeline. And sometimes I will have I don't want to go into it too much, but I'll have like a micro sales pipeline. So, and that micro sales pipeline is more of just to get cold prospect into warm prospect. So it's finding that traffic source, and LinkedIn is a traffic source, Facebook is a traffic source. Anything that people, any platform or place where people come into you is a traffic source. So sometimes a micro pipeline or a micro funnel will be to get that cold prospect to come into the sales pipeline and just to warm them up, get them to take some kind of action to continue on with you. I mean, I could just want them to view one of my posts. And so I have a micro pipeline, a micro funnel to do that. So just when you create an Excel, start with the goal in mind and work your way backwards and then create the Excel from there. So if the goal is I want to get my ideal clients onto my next LinkedIn event, then you start with that. And so I want to get them on my LinkedIn event. So what is the step before that? Well, they got to at least like what I'm doing, so that maybe I get them from a post, maybe I get them as a connection. And so now you know that they become a connection and then you invite them in. So they have to become a connection. So what's the step before that? You got to find them and you got to ask them to connect. So you've got that piece. Maybe you have some messaging in between that where you welcome them before you invite them in. So you just have to really think about that and mind map that out and create your Excel based on that. So what that type looks like is it looks like you could have one column where it's called a qualification column. So that column could be, and you can put like a mini SOP at the top of it. SOP is standard operating procedures, where it's like, okay, this is my avatar, this is who I'm looking for. And it could just have qualifiers. So for your ideal client, maybe they have to follow Brene Brown. Maybe that's a qualifier. Yeah. Maybe they have to follow Brene Brown and they have to be asking specific questions on how do I hold boundaries. Maybe that's what they're interested in, right? So that's a qualifier. You've got two qualifiers, Brene Brown, questions about boundaries. So you've got those two, right? Yeah, I mean, we're just identifying these guys, and this is how we keep on track. This is how we really can identify how to utilize our time really well on LinkedIn. And then another qualifier for you is like maybe you go to their profile and maybe they're of a certain age, or maybe you want to focus with females and not so much the men. Maybe you want to work with women who were in corporate. So that's another qualifier. So you've got three. Takes a little bit of legwork, but you can easily just spend time on one of Brene Brown's posts, go through those people, qualify them, and guess what? Their name goes in that first column as somebody who is qualified for you to connect with. Boom. Next column, you connect with them. And maybe you use a connection message and you have a standard one. So another SOP is when I qualified people, I connect, they get this connection message. Hey, I see that you follow Brene Brown and that you liked her last post, just like I did. And I thought it would be great for us to connect, right? So that's your connection message. And you can cut and paste that connection message because that's how you qualified them. So, and it's very genuine, it's authentic, you did the legwork. So it's that's the other piece, is that you've taken the time to get to know them already. You're interested, you want to help them. So that's your next column. And then you have another column with who from column 2 came and connected with me. So column 3 is who connected. That's the column 3. Once they've connected, then you have a welcome message column. What's the welcome message? Hey, thanks so much for connecting. I love Brene Brown, and put your favorite Brene Brown quote in there. And so then you guys have tell me what your favorite Brene Brown quote is. See, it's so easy. We're just, yeah, it's so easy. But however, I say easy and I actually mean simple. It's very simple. However, coming to this conclusion, you have to think about it. You have to take some time. When we're so busy on social media, it's tough to do. So let me see. Got some more. Is there a cataloger? master's register of hashtags available to review, discover on LinkedIn. I mean, you can definitely Google it and see if there are. What I haven't found, I haven't found one outside of LinkedIn that is specific to your connections and your followers. That LinkedIn pulls together based on your LinkedIn. Now, that doesn't mean there's not one out there, because my goodness, there are so many different systems. There are so many different applications out there that could definitely pull in all of your connections and come up with that information. I just don't know one top of mind. So you can actually Google it and say, what's the best hashtags to use on my LinkedIn profile? See what comes up. If there is an application that has been created for that, and if we have any inventors here or any software engineers and it's not up there, I just gave you guys a really, really good idea, just so you know, a really good idea. That would be something that I would actually purchase. So if you guys are looking for your next big software idea, that could be one. If there isn't one, then the best thing is to come back into LinkedIn, go into the My Network section, and just see what they're asking for. So that would be my suggestion on that. There are some generic ones that say, and most of the time I don't see them for LinkedIn, I'll see them for Instagram. So you can actually do a cross comparison there. So if you only find like an Instagram list, because Instagram is known for its hashtags, then do your due diligence, take that hashtag, put it in the search in LinkedIn, and then just do the click through. Unfortunately, when you put it in the search, it doesn't necessarily come up to the page that I want it to, which tells me how many people are following that hashtag. So you may have to click on the hashtag within somebody else's post, and then you can see what the followers are. For suggested followers, I mean, there's nothing wrong with going niche. If it's something that all of your ideal clients are following, even if there's 500, definitely use that hashtag. But look at the numbers game too. If you're just looking for hashtags to get out there in front of more people, I usually like to look at 5K or more. More is better if I'm trying to get to a bigger audience. And so just look at it that way too. What it's called pipeline. That's right. So sales pipeline. So if I'm poking at my nose, I have cats. So just know that I have 4 cats. They love my office. They love to hang out at my feet. So I'm always pulling cat hair off of my eyes and my nose. So yes, a sales pipeline. It's so think of it as another way of saying funnel, but a pipeline is usually a linear. So we're trying to move people over this way. So we use a sales pipeline for that. And just kind of like I said with the Excels and the columns, it's just another way of saying a sales pipeline is really what it is. Do you have a strategy to select the right hashtags? Again, like my strategy is to it's context within the content. So I really like to see what matches, and it's more of a writer's thing. I like the flow of writing. I don't mind interrupting and disrupting with a hashtag within the content, as long as it makes sense for the context of the content. So what does that mean? That means that I don't mind saying, hey, for all of you hashtag influencers out there, I thought that you would really like this article on hashtag influencer marketing. So it's a little disrupted by having that hashtag, but not so much that it takes away from the context of the content. So that's kind of my strategy when I use it. And then at the end of it, I will always put in at least 3 hashtags that, again, go with the context of the content. I'm not going to put, that sentence there and then put hashtag dogs because dogs are, popular. I'm going to put something like influencer marketing or influencer agency or ROI or something like that. So that's my strategy with it. But I do have a list of hashtags that I like to use that I know that my ideal clients are following. And sometimes the best strategy to finding out what is it that my ideal clients are following or what hashtags are they using is to simply look at their content and see. Go to their profiles, go and check out their articles, go and check out their recent content. Then you'll know. And that's one of the good strategies to use. again, it's all customer focused. From various listeners via the replay that our interview was one of the best. Oh, good. Oh, I'm glad, Dr. Laura. Yeah, that was a fun one. That we did that one. Good. I'm glad. Yes, there's a lot of good stuff. Okay, guys, I'm a little over. I have to jump into my next call, but the replay we will put up tonight. So you guys will have it. We'll send out a quick email saying, hey, replay's up. If you guys want to come back and watch all this good stuff. So action step for you is go try one of those opportunities. Go try them. I'd love for you guys to connect with 5 of your ideal clients today too. So that is my ask for you. It is a call to action for sure. It's not about me, it's about you and moving you guys forward. So best thing that you guys can do is go and start making these connections and start talking with people. Just start talking with them. Take some of this advice and run with it. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend. And we have another one. We have another one of these LinkedIn Labs next Friday. Invite your peeps in. If you're liking this, invite them into the registration page on LinkedIn. We will get them into the email system and they will get an invite to this Zoom call. And also they can watch the replays of the past one. So it always helps. Okay, guys. All right, I got to run. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.